Hello again, you guys. This is Dustin DeBoer, and I am honestly and truly super excited about being able to share this topic with you. The Lord has really worked in my life in the last 24 hours as I read this devotional a couple of times yesterday and put it into my consciousness and my subconscious. And then as I listen to things and experience things throughout the last 24 hours, the Lord had me put this together. I think especially for somebody out there today, besides myself, because the topic here is very, very important. By a show of hands, raise your hand if you are thankful that 2020 is truly in the rear view mirror. I bet that was a majority of people in the average world. I am not sad myself for it to go because it was a great year for me due to many different reasons. One of which was the attitude I carried about adversity that truly launched me into action to have a 2020 vision in 2021. I am really working on my 2020 vision now, as you know full well, or my 2020 vision in 2021, as you know full well. By tomorrow's devotional, I will be able to tell you I have my goals in the 5 areas of the Glenn Bland method of success, coupled with Think and Grow Rich, and the methods of success there that Napoleon Hill shared about. After all, I heard last night that only 3% of Americans really write down their goals, and only 1% of them read them daily. While I told you about the brackets, which one are you actually in? Are you even in the 3% or the 1% of the 3%? By tomorrow, I will have mine written down because I want to be a demonstration to you of what I'm talking about. I will then be able to give you updates on how I am proceeding in reviewing these goals daily. Daily reviewing them is a challenge in and of itself, but you first have to have them written down. How about that dream board that I've talked about in the last few days? Is it really a dream board, or is it a, it'll maybe happen as a wish board someday? There's a big difference in that. Let me now read to you what Gary Chapman says about sharing desire in today's devotional from the 5 love languages. After I read this, I will share with you some of the applicational aspects to this and help you make 2020 vision come true for you, your marriage, and your family in 2021. Let's get started. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. Proverbs 13:12. Gary Chapman says, as I've written the last few days about self-revelation, we've looked at sharing experiences and feelings. Today, I want to talk about sharing desire. The failure to share desire is a source of much misunderstanding and frustration in any romantic relationship. Expecting your mate to fulfill your unexpressed desire is a setup for the impossible, and that makes disappointment inevitable. If you want your spouse to do something special on your birthday, as an example, say so. Don't expect your partner to read your mind. I'm going to add one thing to that. And if you don't really care about celebrating your birthday on that day, say that as well. Now that paragraph brings up the beginning of a discussion for me on the unwritten rules of marriage and family relationships that we are all bred with due to our cultural upbringing. I am truly no exception to that. In the SYMBIS program, I will more than likely talk about that, and I have experienced it already with Shannon. The fact of the matter is, it's not just birthday and holiday celebrations. To also look at it from the standpoint of the simple, ordinary things of life that are unwritten rules. You know, here's some fun ones. Do you live with the toilet seat up or the toilet seat down? Do you live with the kitchen and bathroom towels hung in a certain way, or do you just do it any old way, creating confusion of whose towel is which versus, oh, here's another one, the dishcloth and the hand towel in the kitchen. Don't intermix them. Oh no, that would be bad. It'd be creating germs. Do you hang them in the right spot so that you know where they are, so that when your mate's in the kitchen, they can actually help you do things more quickly? Those are all things that, well, yes, that's called life, and I'm speaking from experience. Oh, the joys of having two people leave their family of origin and form a more perfect union through the cleaving to one another. These are all things, again, we talk about in the SYMBIS program to help people prepare for marriage, the unwritten rules of marriage. Gary Chapman goes on to talk further about how Proverbs 13:12, that King Solomon presented a striking word picture of fulfilled and unfulfilled desires. Of course, not all of our daily wishes rise to the level of making us heartsick if they're not fulfilled. But the basic idea is that when good, healthy desires are fulfilled, joy can result. Why wouldn't you want to do that for your spouse? And why would your spouse not want to do that for you? Can I get a show of hands again on this one? Now, raise your hand if you wake up every morning, well, okay, a couple times in the week at least, and you just say, I don't want to please my spouse in any way, shape, or form today. I just don't care about them. I don't care about their desires, their wants, or their wishes. Well, I'm just focused on my own today, and that's it. That's all that matters. Now, some of you were ready to raise your hand without even listening to what I said. Be careful, as you know my trick now. If you did raise your hand to that, I ask you, why did you get married? Did you not want to have unity, harmony, and agreement in your marriage? Do you want to have pain, agony, and just frustration and angst? Did you get married to be just self-serving, or to actually work together to make a life together as one flesh, not just in the physical sense? Because that's not really being husband and wife. That's just being man and woman and procreating. But did you get married to make a life together in the sense of all sides of the relationship? Gary continues by asking us to let our spouses know what we want as a vital part of self-revelation. Several statements, he says, reveal desire. I want, I wish. Do you know what would really make me happy? Or I'd like to. If you express your desire and your spouse has a chance to accommodate them, you are not demanding, you are requesting. That is vital to a healthy marriage. You cannot control your spouse's decisions. You can clearly state what you would like, but doing that is a step towards intimacy. Now, naturally, that last word, intimacy, strikes a certain tone if you are based as a male or a female. Now, intimacy is not just the physical or sexual, but also the emotional, the spiritual, the relational, and more if we truly think about what goes into true love and true intimacy. But other than that, which ought to be obvious to any couple, I must say this. I have heard Shannon say these things to me over and over again in the 4 years that we have known each other. I personally haven't always been the best at remembering those things that she says. I honestly admit that I need to literally grab my phone right away and copy those into a note section that says Shannon's desires. That way, when it comes to actually planning something I need to do for the sake of our marriage for her, I have it on file what she really desires. Now, she is much better at remembering what I have as desires and tends to speak to them fairly readily, for which I am blessed. Now, some people would just say you two are an average normal couple in that regard, but the facts are the facts. In order to have a healthy marriage, you need to state your desires and then remember to act on them for your mate if you want to have a fully unified, harmonious, and marriage that is in agreement. Let me read the prayer that Gary gives us to consider what can solidify what I just said. Father, help me to communicate my desires more deeply and more openly. I don't want to be demanding, but I want to reveal more of myself and the thing I hold close to my heart to the one I love. Please bless our relationship as we strive to fulfill each other's desires. Men, listen to your mate's words and watch her actions to determine what she wants. Then let her know that you are sharing this with her to see if what you determine is actually accurate. That might help. Then be willing to let her know what you want by telling her, and then have her give you feedback if she sees those things in you to see if your words and actions match up. If they don't, remember what you really desire. Here are some questions from a very successful businesswoman that I heard last night, whose name is Ann Elson Peter, as she talked about setting goals to have a clear vision for a clear 2020 vision in 2021. Now, she was talking in the sense with a business team and applied it in that way, but I'm sharing it with you and want you to apply it to your marriage. Because these bigger questions, don't want to make it sound like it's so huge, but yet at the same time, I want to give it its rightful place, need to be answered to have a unified, harmonious, and a marriage that is in agreement. Here are the questions. What do you want your life? What do you want in it? What do you want to improve in your life? What do you want to stop in your life? And what do you want to start? 2021 is a new start. Maybe some of you are on a weight management program. Honestly, I did that for a couple of years and lost 40 pounds on it with the Body Key System by Nutrilite and by walking a whole lot more and doing more exercising and having more of a low calorie and low carb diet. It worked, and I've kept 95% of it off. You know, holidays, you got to work on things again. If you want help in that regard, I can help you. I want to add to what Ann's questions are from another business owner I know of named Matt Growald, who asks a number of times in years past, how do you want to live? What do you want to be known for individually as well as a family unit? How do you want to help other people excel, which is really hope? Now, a couple of resources for you in regard to this as you figure out what you really desire and how to not only share them with your spouse, but then accomplish them as a team seeking unity, harmony, and agreement. I have read various books and listened to various authors speak about this very topic. One of which is the Glenn Bland Success Method. In it, he shares with people the 5 areas he says is critical to success and how to actually put a plan together to accomplish them rather than just have them. Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich states his 6 steps of desire and his model of success as demonstrated through faith, basically chapters 2 and 3 of his book, as well as scattered throughout the book for his 13 different principles that he talks about. Another one is Terry Savelle Foy, a dream board and dream fulfiller extraordinaire, speaker, teacher, and author who shares a formula for success as she has studied it from being a very successful business and ministry leader for numbers of years now. John Maxwell, in Put Your Dream to the Test, gives you 10 questions to help you see it and seize it. I can't wait to do masterminds and more on these books. John also talks about transformation on a macro scale and micro, really, in his new book and new movement coming out this month, and the one in which I am seeking to lead people through also. Check out my events on the business Facebook page for Change Your World 2021. That is another resource on top of Intentional Living, which he wrote a couple of years ago, all of which are books that I can actually help and facilitate for a clear vision of 2020 in 2021. If your family or your corporation would actually like for me to come and speak to you about those topics, feel free and message me and we'll go from there. Now, in conclusion, I heard a podcast also from Famous at Home by Dr. Josh and Christy Straub in the last 24 hours that also talks about how in a meta-analysis, which is a process used to look at lots of research data, they discovered that the top 3 parenting strategies that are out there involve first and foremost the way of being parents. Number 1, what you really need to do is to have love and affection for your kids. Number 2, as parents, have the ability to manage your own levels of stress, and you will be able to help your kids do the same. Fight, flight, or freeze is real. And learning to calm your own brain when your kids or spouse say things that they really don't mean will help you be in the right frame of mind to help your kids process theirs. That will also create lots of respect from your kids as well as your spouse. Third, the parenting strategy that they came up with for this one in the research study that another person said or did is that when you work on treating your spouse the right way, you are actually parenting correctly. These 3 top parenting strategies are all about who you are becoming as an adult. What do you really, really desire? And how are you shaping your kids by what you actually desire? And are you speaking that and living it Remember, only 3% of people in America have written down goals, and only 1% of them say them daily. Coaching your kids with emotional coaching is almost more caught than it is coached or taught. They model you more than you realize. And I will post the 2-part podcast in the comments below so that you can access it further for your own study and reflection to help you excel in faith, family, and freedom so that you can be a real success on the stage of life that matters most, your front door. That is all for now. Have a great day being a real success. Let me know if I can help you in any way.